All right, what's up, my fellow Division 2 agents? Welcome back to the channel. It's D Werewolf Gaming, and I'm back with another Division 2 video. Today, guys, got an amazing build to showcase. I really enjoy using this build, and we will be using a talent that I never really play with that much, guys, but I do really enjoy this talent. Pretty easy to use, guys, very straightforward. And, most of you guys know in this game, especially you veteran players, that there aren't a whole lot of ways to get extra weapon damage. You got a couple of talents such as the ability talent, which builds up, you increase weapon damage by 1%, stacking up to 20 times. So get up 20% increase in weapon damage. You also have talents like glass cannon, where if you use that talent, guys, you are going to be taking, the reward is you do more damage, but you take more damage. So that's the trade-off. And then you have other talents such as vigilance, and vigilance is great as well, but if you do take damage, you will lose the buff. So those are some of the talents that I often use in my gameplay. But today, guys, we're going to focus on using the companion talent. Never really use that talent too much, but overall, it's a great talent. It's very easy to use. All you got to do is keep your companion within 10 meters of you the entire time. And basically, that's your skills. Just keep your skill within 10 meters of you the entire time, and you will receive the buff. 20% increase in weapon damage. There's nothing else needed to do. Great talent, guys. So overall, I'm gonna let you finish watching this gameplay. We'll go over this build breakdown shortly, and as always, guys, I am gonna give you more gameplay for those who enjoy the gameplay.
Hostile radio intercepted.
We're under attack! Intruders in the center! Then kill them! What the fuck? It's the division! No, fucking kill them!
All right, guys, so for this build, we did use the St. Elmo's engine, but as you can see, the core stats is 121.05k, RPM 978, with 70 in the magazine. Does have a headshot damage of 85%, with optimal range being 31. I do have a weapon expertise of 30%. As you can see, the core attributes are assault rifle damage and 21% damage to health, with the third attribute, being 10% damage to target out of cover. If you do not have that on your exotic weapons, guys, you can always reroll that attribute to whatever talent you want on it. I do have the damage to target out of cover. All right, as you can see, guys, the weapon handling is amazing on this weapon. Accuracy is pretty good with stability being full, and reload time is pretty fast right there at 1.66 seconds. All right, the talent is called Active Mesh. Shooting an enemy with this weapon will get 1 stack. At 100 stacks, the next magazine will be 100% filled with shock ammo. The mods that do come in this gun is 15% critical hit damage plus 30 rounds, plus 10% weapon handling, and 15% critical hit chance. All right, guys, if you're new to this game and you do want to obtain this weapon, there are plenty of ways you can obtain this weapon. For example, one of my go-to routes in forming exotics is priority objectives. Really easy to do, guys. There you can do missions, short events that you can do within the open world. Another way, guys, is to find the targeted loots, like I'm showing you right here on the map. If you want to form for assault rifles, look for the location with the targeted loot. Do the highest level of difficulty that you can do, and you do have a chance of getting exotic weapons to drop. For example, we want to do the assault rifle. I'm going right here to New York, and as you can see, New York does have this mission here. The Parkway mission does have the assault rifle for the targeted loot. So I can go travel to this map, do this mission right here over and over until I do get the weapon to drop. That's one way. Another way, guys, is the summon. I do enjoy using the summon for my targeted loot, especially being a solo gamer. Is what I usually go to majority of the time. Just make sure you select the targeted loot being assault rifles, and you can get an exotic drop to drop as well. Just make sure you do it on the highest level of difficulty that you can do. All right, another way you can do it as well is the countdown, guys. Just make sure you set the countdown to targeted loot as well, and you can get those exotic drops that way. Another way is the projects. Of course, if you complete your weekly SHD requisition, you can get you will get an exotic cache, and you can get that to drop. You may luck out and get the St. Elmo's engine. All right, and the weekly legendary mission as well can give you exotic caches that can drop the St. Elmo's engine as well. All right, guys, so for the secondary weapon we did use was the rock and roll shotgun. This is a Dark Zone exclusive drop, but you can get it through the name weapon caches, guys. You can obtain you can get it through that route as well. All right, and this is an ACS 12. So if you don't have this version, guys, just use the ACS 12 shotgun. As you can see, guys, I do have a weapon expertise of 20%, with the core attributes being shotgun damage and 12% damage to armor. And again, I did reroll that third talent attribute to damage to target out of cover. And the talent on this gun is called Perfectly Extra. It You get a boost in your magazine capacity by 50%. That's just great. And the mods I did have on this gun is 10% critical hit damage and 5% critical hit chance. But guys, always use their secondary weapon you prefer. I do like using the shotguns, especially the ACS-12, because they do help build up your striker stacks pretty easy, guys. So you can take full benefit of using the striker set. All right, I did have the Orbit pistol equipped primarily because of the talent on this gun, but I do have a weapon expertise of 12%, core attribute being 15% pistol damage, and the attribute was 6% damage to armor. And like I said, the primary reason I was using this gun is for the talent, and it's called Perfect Finisher. Swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% critical hit chance and 40% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. The mods I did have on this gun is 20% reload speed and 10% critical hit damage. All right, guys. So for this particular set, I did go with the Striker's Battle Gear, and 2 pieces gives you plus 15% weapon handling. When you have on 3 pieces, you get 15% increase in rate of fire. All right, guys. When you have the 4-piece on, you get Striker's Gamble. Weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%. Stacking up to 100 times. We get 100 times, 100 stacks, guys. You basically will have 65% increase in weapon damage. All right, 1 stack is lost per second between 0 and 50 stacks, and 2 stacks are lost per second between 50 and 100 stacks. The core attribute I did have on this weapon was the armor core, and the attributes I did have was a 12% critical hit damage and a 6% critical hit chance attribute. All right, for the chest piece, guys, we did go with the 1-piece electric, which does give us 10% increase in status effect. I did have the name version on. It's called a Henry. And the core attributes on this, I did have a weapon core. The attributes, I did have 10% headshot damage with 6% critical hit chance attributes as well. The talent on this chest piece is what we really was going for, and it's called Perfect Companion. While you're within 10 meters of an ally or skill, total weapon damage is increased by 20%. So if you're playing with a teammate, you're going to get that bonus. If you got your skills within 10 meters of you, you're going to be getting that bonus, guys. The main thing with this is you do not have to worry about building up any stacks. You're going to get that weapon damage regardless. All right, for the holster, I did have the Striker, which is I did have an armor core with a 12% critical hit damage attribute. And for the knee pads, it was a 3rd piece of Striker, which I did have a weapon core attribute and a 6% critical hit chance attribute. All right, guys, for the gloves, it was the 4th piece of the Striker set, and did have a weapon core attribute, armor core attribute with a 12% critical hit damage attribute. All right, for the backpack, guys, I did go with a Memento backpack. Felt like this backpack was the best in slot for this particular build because you do get all 3 cores. You get a weapon, an armor core, and a skill tier. I do have an expertise of 12%. And the attribute I did use was 6% critical hit chance. What makes this backpack so great is the talent. It's called Kill Confirm. Enemies you kill drop a trophy on death. Collecting trophies provide both a short and long-term buff, the first of which scales with the number of core attributes equipped, and this lasts for 10 seconds. All right, guys, so each red core you pick up, you're going to be getting 5% increase in weapon damage, 10% in bonus armor for each blue, and 5% in skills efficiency for each yellow core. So, like I said, it scales with the number of cores you have. So the more red cores, the more of that 5% weapon damage bonus you're going to be getting, and so forth. Now, for each trophy collected, you gain an additional plus 1% weapon damage and skill efficiency, and plus 0.1% armor regeneration for 300 seconds. Do get a max of 30 stacks. When you get all stacks, guys, you will have 30% increase in weapon damage and skill efficiency, and also 300 seconds of armor regen, or 3% armor regen. Now, if you did not have this backpack, guys, there are other talents that I would recommend, such as the Unstoppable Force, which just gives you up to 25% increase in weapon damage when you do get up to a certain amount of kills. Vigilance as well, but Vigilance, guys, keep in mind when you do lose damage, you will lose the benefit of that. All right, as you can see, no modifiers were used in this gameplay. All right, for the skills, I did go with the Mender Seeker Mine, and the Mender Seeker Mine follows allies and repairs your armor, guys. So that's just great. The only thing that I will mention that you will have to use a certain class specialization to have access to this mine. So that is one of the only downside to using this particular skill. And I did go with the Striker's Drone, guys. Many of you know I like the Striker's Drone because it will locate those enemies, and so you can take them out. Also, it does do damage as well, so I do enjoy using it, and draw aggro as well. So that's another reason why I do enjoy the Striker's Drone. All right, weapon stats, as you can see, I did have a critical hit chance of 55% with a critical hit damage of 98%. Critical hit damage was a little low, guys, but you know, as you can see, that 55% critical hit chance was 5 away from the cap. of being 60%. Did have 85% headshot damage. So overall, pretty good damage in my opinion, guys. Especially if you was playing this build with the modifiers on, it would be great as well. But I wanted to give you gameplay without the modifiers. All right, so let's take a look at the armor on this build. Overall, this build was pretty balanced. Did have right there at 1.5 million armor, or to be precise, did have 1,526,909 armor. But keep in mind, guys, I was using the Seeker Mine, which does repair armor, and we did go with the Survivalist. Survivalist is great, guys, and you'll see when we go over this. You do get 10% increase in protection from elites, which is amazing. All right, armor kits now repair over 5 seconds instead of instantly, but it also applies to group members. So you plant within 20 meters. So if you're playing with your teammates, they will get benefit of that. All right, and you will only have access to the Mender Mine, Seeker Mine, by using the Survivalist class. And like I said, it follows you around, guys, repairing your armor, which is amazing. All right, your group members, guys, get 10% bonus damage to targets with status effects. You gain 5 ammo per second for your current weapon while performing cover to cover. Since you're not going to be using the shield, you will often be using cover. Well, I definitely use the cover to cover. And also, while in cover, you gain 10% skill haste to get your skills back a little bit faster. That's just amazing as well. One last thing is don't forget to equip the correct weapon that you're using so you can get the 15% in the weapon damage. All right, guys, if you like the build, let's give it a thumbs up. Thank you for your valued time and continued support as always. Really appreciate each and every one of you for your valued time. All right, stick around. I'm going to finish the rest of this mission. For those who enjoy the gameplay, D Werewolf out.
You're near Espinosa's last known position. The shade node should be close.
If you want him back, we can make a deal. You back off, we'll deliver him unharmed.
Keep it alive. Find that thing a piece of shit and waste her.
sign. 0.
He didn't have to die here.